Hello everyone, this is Gerd Speer and I'm your instructor for Math 120, and I just want to get this class started by going over some basics that are on page 1 through 29 of your textbook Intermediate Algebra by Bittinger, Beecher, and Johnson. The specifics of the textbook are described in my syllabus for Math 120. So when you go to your class, you can find all the information published in the syllabus. And so this is page 1, and it points out some of the basic topics that you should be familiar with based on your prerequisites for this course. And the first 9 or so, the set of real numbers, order for the real numbers and graphing inequalities and so on. All these topics down to number 9 is something you should really be familiar with. So I'm not going to go a lot into any of that. But I also wanted to point out some other topics that are coming up here, like number 10 through 20. And I'm not going to cover each one of them in detail. But let me just say that all of these are really, really important. For instance, the idea of exponential notation, it's something you definitely need to review because that'll be used all the time. The same thing is the order of operations. You should be thoroughly familiar with that. And when you first learned it, you might have even wondered, why is there such a thing as an order of operations? Whoever came up with that? Well, the order of operation really exists in many different areas of life also. One of the most simple order of operations examples would be there are traffic lights. Who gets to go first? Or people who follow recipes to make something, like some kind of food or something. Or just the simplest things have an order of operations. If you ever bought something you have to assemble, it comes with instructions, and those instructions are basically order of operations. So they're all around us. And the basic idea behind an order of operations is to get predictable results. If we all follow the order of operations, then our answers will be correct and they'll be the same. Then number 12, translate to an algebraic expression. That is critical because knowing the words to translate English language into algebraic expressions is really, really important when it comes to solving word problems. And let me just make this observation. In the real world, there's nothing but word problems. You will probably never have the opportunity to solve a quadratic equation when someone gives you the equation and says, solve this equation. That's typically not the problem. But so number 12, for translating to an algebraic expressions, these words are really important that you know them. Also, we evaluate algebraic expressions all the time. Number 13, that would be important to know. And then also equivalent fraction expressions. So that would be another important one, that you understand that fractions can be expressed in different ways and they're all they're equivalent. The commutative law and the associative laws, you're probably familiar with those. They're pretty intuitive. And now number 16, the distributive law, that is absolutely critical that you're familiar with that. You cannot do without it in the future here. Also combining or collecting like terms, number 17. In other words, to even know what like terms are is really super important in this class. And also number 18, removing parentheses and collecting like terms. It's a combination of the distributive law, number 16 and number 17. And then exponential notation part 2. Of course, that is critical also that you know these things. And scientific notation. So all these topics have come up before. And again, as part of your prerequisites, you should be really familiar with them. But I just want to give you a heads up right now that you should really study these topics and be totally clear about any or all of them. What I've seen over the years where people have problems with is sometimes unexpected challenges like combining two fractions with unlike denominators. That is something you should definitely master or know about, that there's no doubt in your mind that you can combine terms, something like 2/3 and 5/7. Okay, that you know how to do that. Or maybe 5/8 minus 2/3. Things like that, little problems like this. Now, if you don't know exactly how to do that, there's a cool website. It's called softschools.com. softschools.com, softschools.com, and they have math worksheets. So you can download math worksheets. For example, if the idea of combining fractions with unlike denominators is still a little bit, if you're a little bit weak in that, then download the worksheets and do exercises until you can do it in your sleep. Okay, and they of course have all kinds of worksheets, not only for fractions and the like, but for all the topics that you have listed here. So there's an opportunity to catch up in case some of that knowledge has gone in remission a little bit, but we need it fresh and ready to access.